NFL GMs believe Conner Weigman is going to break out this season for the Aggies.
You are Locked On Aggies, your daily podcast on the Texas A&M Aggies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into Locked On Aggies. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak. Thanks for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. Terms and conditions do apply. Hope everybody had an outstanding weekend. The Aggies are heading to Omaha. We will talk about that in segments 2 and 3 today. A lot to break down there. Also, I dislocated my knee this weekend, kneecap, not knee. So if I'm kind of hanging down here a little bit, bear with me because it is not feeling great this morning, but we're gonna be all right. We're gonna power through today. So, I was reading an article from an ESPN Plus article from Matt Miller, who's an NFL draft analyst, and he predicted some players that are going to pop up on draft boards that maybe we aren't expecting as much right now. And one of the names that he mentioned was Conner Weigman. So I want to read to you what he had to say here, including a quote from an NFL GM. So he said, let's finish with a quarterback who could take a leap. In nearly each of the past 5 years, a passer seemingly has come out of nowhere to land in round one. At least one NFL general manager says Weigman is that guy for 2025. I'm telling you right now, Weigman will be the breakout quarterback this year, said a GM who has done advanced work on this quarterback class. He'll be the guy everyone is asking, where'd he come from next spring? Texas A&M Jr. played in 4 games last season before suffering a season-ending foot injury. In those 4 games, he was crisp with 8 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions while throwing for 979 yards, completing 68.9% of his passes. The 6'3", 215-pounder can also move outside the pocket and had 2 rushing scores. Weigman has generated a lot of buzz in the NFL agent community too, with many eager to see how he looks with a full season and with a new head coaching staff led by Mike Elko. Or new coaching staff. But point about this, the reason this is interesting to me, and I think this is a great quote. I mean, you love hearing NFL GMs, NFL scouts excited about Conner Weigman because, I mean, I've been saying this for weeks, for months. I think he is a guy. I really do believe Conner Weigman is going to have a massive season for Texas A&M and break out and be that exactly what this GM here is saying. Be that guy that you go, wait, what? Why is Conner Weigman mock drafted to go 17th overall? He wasn't even, you know what I mean? How did that happen? I think Conner Weigman could be that guy. Because here's the deal. I know he wasn't playing his best game when he went down against Auburn, but if he would have played all last season, the hype around Conner Weigman heading into this season would be through the roof. He, of course, went down with the injury and wasn't able to play all season. And I think that affected the hype around him. People, there's recency bias when it comes to hype. People haven't seen Conner Weigman in a long time. They didn't see him play a great game to end the season against Oklahoma State. You know what I mean? Like, if he didn't play in that bowl game, he didn't go for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns that made you go, man, this is the year Conner Weigman's going to break out. So without being able to do that, I think there's not going to be a ton of hype around him. So now you have to kind of the hype, is more sleeper hype than, this guy's going to be a star hype. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think people sleeping on somebody's ever a bad thing. I think it makes you better, makes you more, a little more chip on your shoulder, stuff like that. But I am a full believer that Conner Weigman can be drafted in the first round if he does what I think he can do this season. He's that good of a quarterback. He's that good of a player. He still, 2 years into college, has not had a full opportunity to show what I believe he can do. So I'm all in. As I've said on this show many, many times, as you every day or here at Locked On Aggies know, Conner Weigman is going to have a great season, and I don't think this GM is crazy. I think this GM is spot on that Conner Weigman's going to have a huge year and sneak into the NFL draft, maybe even in the first round. So that is really, really exciting to hear. Good for Conner, good for this football team. And then you got to remember, so for the folks saying, well, no, we don't want Conner to go. We want him to stick around. Yes, of course, you would love Conner to stick around for another year after this year. But you got to remember, you've still got awesome quarterbacks. You've got a 5-star coming in. You're going to be fine at the quarterback position. But, yeah, if Conner Weigman is as good as advertised, you'd love for him to stick around another year. So I've got a few more offensive weapons who I think could break out this year. And as y'all know, I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on the receiver who I think is going to be the breakout candidate for this team. And it started with Ja'Day Walker, and now for me, it's Noah Thomas. After what he did in the spring game, he just looked so good. He's so tall. He's so strong. He's so quick. He can win the 50-50 balls. He can win the deep balls, but he's also a crisp route runner. That's the thing about it is, a lot of times players like him just win with size and speed. He can win with size and speed, but he's also a really crisp route runner. And I think Noah Thomas is going to have a massive, massive, massive season. Last year when he got off to that great start, whatever it was, he was 3 touchdowns in the first game, I believe. And we went, uh-oh. And then, he was kind of banged up throughout the year, and there were injuries. And he didn't really, I would say after that first game, he didn't probably finish with the season we were expecting. I think that's safe to say. But I think Noah Thomas is going to have a really good year. I think the connection between him and Weigman is going to be awesome. I think that he's going to get the football to him a lot. I think Noah Thomas is going to be one of the best breakout receivers in the conference. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out. The next name I have is Donovan Green. I still don't think Donovan Green, you could argue it's a similar conversation with what we just said about Conner Weigman. Donovan Green did not. I was saying he was going to break out last year. The year before, he put up some solid numbers. He put up some serious solid numbers. But I still think, you went, okay, man, he hasn't broken out yet. I think we could all agree. Donovan Green hasn't had that breakout season we were expecting. He didn't have the breakout season before the ACL tear. It was a solid season, but not like a breakout. And you're expecting last year to be the breakout season. And, he, of course, tears the ACL right before the season starts. I remember seeing that news and just was going, man, not only were we upset for Donovan as a human being, but this just hurts his football team, hurts his, it was all around awful. So Donovan Green, is getting healthy. He's getting ready to rock and roll. And it's going to be really exciting to see him, really get back on the field. And I just think he's going to have this huge season that we were expecting last year, didn't get because of the ACL tear. And on top of that, plus what Colin Klein likes to do with the tight end position. So, yeah, I think Donovan Green has a huge season in front of him. I'm really excited to see how it plays out. I think he's going to be really, really good. And I cannot wait to see what he does this year. And then the last guy I have here is Armaj Reed Adams, the offensive lineman transfer, who we've heard incredible things. I know he's played some college football, so could you argue he's already broken out? But I think he's going to break out in the SEC. I think he's just going to have an absolutely incredible season for the Aggies. I think he's going to be a big reason why this offensive line hopefully takes a step in the right direction. We discussed on one of the shows last week, you need this offensive line to be good if you want your football team to be good. End of story, simple as that. And I think that Armaj Reed Adams is a player who could be a part of that. I think he's a guy that could really help you be better, help you improve this offensive line, give Conner Weigman time, create holes and space for these running backs. I think he's that type of guy. He can truly do all of that. And, I'm excited to see what he does because I think he's going to be a big reason why this offensive line is better in 2024. So the coaching staff seems happy with what he's done. It seems all around like this guy is ready to have a huge season for Texas A&M and help this offensive line be better. So I'm excited to see that. If y'all have any more offensive breakouts that y'all are thinking of, maybe a young guy, something, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts. But now, what you've all been waiting for, it's time to talk a little bit about the baseball team moving on to Omaha. We're going to talk about the Super Regional against Oregon, and then we're going to talk a little bit about an Omaha preview. Who do the Aggies play first? What teams are already there? Stuff like that. We'll have both of those conversations coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else. Even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Aggies get it done. Only need 2 games. They don't need game 3, which for a little while during game 2, you went, looks like we might need to win a game 3 here. Nope, because the Aggies get the job done. So let's start with game 1. 10-6 win over the Ducks. Jackson Appel, 3 for 5, 2 runs, 2 RBIs. Just continues to be awesome. Hayden Schott, have a weekend, young man. He goes 3 for 5 in game 1 with 3 RBIs. I mean, just getting the job done. I'll talk about what he did in game 2 here in a minute. But, the issue here, you had 2 problems. You didn't have a great game from Prager, which, listen, once again, I pitched. That's what I did in college. Bad days happen. Good pitchers have bad days. When you have a bad day and you look up at the scoreboard and you see your team still won, who cares? I don't care. Lock in, get ready for your start next weekend. That's what matters. So, Chris Cortez. I mean, seriously, quick, just Locked On Aggies round of applause. 5.2 innings of work, 0 runs, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? He goes almost 6 innings of no run, 2 hit, 10 strikeout baseball. That is absurd. If it wasn't for his performance in this game, I don't know if the Aggies win this game. I really don't. I don't know if Oregon hangs around or Oregon takes the lead, whatever happens. Now, I'll tell you what, this team sure does love coming from behind. Oregon gets off to a hot start, and the Aggies just pile on and win this game 10-6. There's never a deficit where I just go, oh, well, time to turn this game off. Never. We'll talk about that more and what happened in game 2. This team is never out of it. And in baseball, you just have to have that. You can't ever be out of it. This baseball team is never out of it. And that is really cool to see. It's fun to watch teams like that are just never going to go away, never going to wave the white flag and say, hey, we're done. This team's not going to do that. And then Evan Archenbach also goes 1.2 innings of 0 hit, 0 run baseball, 3 strikeouts to really slam the door. So the bullpen gives you, what is that, 6.2, 7.1 innings of shutout baseball. Like, that'll work. That is how you come back and win a game. is your starter struggles and your bullpen comes in and slams the door. That is exactly what happened in this game. Getting the 10-6 win. You do not want to lose game one. When you lose game one in a 3-game series, especially with an opportunity to go to the College World Series on the line, you're in trouble. You got to win 2 in a row. Winning game one is huge. I reiterated that time and time and time again last week. You have got to win game one, and the Aggies did that. And then you move on to game two, where you win it 15-9. I'll be honest with you. Oregon led 7-2 after 3. Cortez was burned. You had to use Eschenbeck. Sado, has to go out with the injury, which once again I want to update on the Sado injury. It sounds like he passed all those UCL, which I had to have that done once. I had my UCL's partially torn, not fully torn, and they run those tests, basically see if you have mobility there, and that's what they find out, or did you tear it. And one thing I completely skipped by, which I have written down here on game one, we got to go back, is the Braden Montgomery injury. So, Monty sliding into the plate, and the foot got caught up. It was one of those things where you had to watch it a bunch of times to see what happened. The first time I watched it, I was like, what happened? I didn't think anything was wrong. It was just like out of nowhere, you know what I mean? And then I finally saw that angle where the foot kind of gets caught up and you just go, ooh, So that injury, he's done for the year. It's tough. It's really tough. I know he was slumping, but he was hitting the ball better in the regional, and you were hoping he was going to get hot in the super and then get hot for Omaha. And, this is a guy that is going to be potentially a top 10 pick in the MLB draft. So you hate it for this young man. You hate it for this team. It was really cool to see him celebrating with his teammates after they won game 2, but just an unfortunate injury for this team. But here's the deal. You're in Omaha. Nothing you can do about it now. Go win. Simple as that. Go win for Monty. That's all you can do is just go win it for Monty. So, a speedy recovery for him. Really, you're going to hate not having him out there. Speedy recovery. Hope he gets to feeling better sooner than later. But, so yeah, in game 2, Shane Sado goes down with the injury. It looks like the UCL is fine, which is great. We'll have to see what happens there. Can he pitch this weekend? I don't feel great about it, just knowing elbow injuries and how cautious teams are with them. But so Oregon leads this game 7-2 after 3 innings. And this one, I kind of was starting to go, oh boy, I didn't have a great feeling about coming back in this one. Even despite, yes, this team's never out of it. You still never feel great down 7-2. Then the Aggies score a couple in the following half inning. And you know what I always say, a 9-run 7th inning will probably win you a baseball game more times than not. And that's what happened here. You get the 9-run 7th inning, just blow the doors open. A Caden Kent granny really blew the thing open, a grand slam from him. But listen, Hayden shot, stay hot. 4 for 4 in this game, 3 runs scored, 4 RBIs. Just Mr. Do-It-All. So he's 3 for 5 in game 1, 4 for 4 in game 2. So 7 for 9 on the weekend. We'll take that. That'll work. I think that'll work just fine. So that's what happened in game 2. And then, you come back out of nowhere with a 9-run 7th and win this ball game. Moving on to Omaha. The Aggies are going to Omaha, ladies and gentlemen. This is exciting. It's truly, truly exciting. This team is really special. And I know Monty's out. You might be missing Sado, but I don't care. This team can win it all. I've said this from the beginning. I think this team's going to Omaha. I think this team can win the championship. And you're a few wins away from getting that championship series. I couldn't be more excited. This team is hitting the ball well. Your bullpen's pitching well. You need some better starts from your starters. But if you get that this weekend and 10 days in Omaha, you can win a national championship. There's no doubt about that. So that's the Super Regional, and the Aggies, of course, won it. They're going to Omaha. Let's preview Omaha. What teams are there? Who is Texas A&M going to play in their first game? and all of my thoughts there. We'll have that conversation coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But I want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. Summertime means baseball, the NBA Finals, and more, and you can bet it all on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 you can use to bet everything from Finals MVP to who's going to hit one out of the park. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and get a big win to your summer bucket list. Love FanDuel. If I'm ever betting on any kind of sports, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, whatever it is, I'm doing it on FanDuel. You got to check it out. It just makes the game more fun. It enhances everything. I promise you, whether it's the NBA Finals, can Luka mount a comeback down 0-2? Are the Celtics going to win? Bet on individual games, the same game parlays there, or bet on the finals as a whole. You can bet on MLB games. It's a ton of fun. You've got to go check it out. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So, little Omaha preview. There are 7 teams currently that have locked up a spot. One of those being Texas A&M. NC State and Georgia have to play the rubber match today. It's tied 1-1. Whoever wins that goes to Omaha. Now, this is crazy. It's going to be a 2-conference tournament. So you've got Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas A&M already in Omaha. So 4. Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, A&M already locked in. 4 SEC teams. You've got North Carolina, Virginia, Florida State already locked in. So 3 ACC teams. Now, whoever wins this, you either got another ACC team and it's tied 4-4, or Georgia wins and it's 5-3 SEC. And do you remember when a couple months ago when I said that the SEC, in my opinion, in all college sports, when it comes to what conference is the best at what sport, the SEC in baseball is the best any conferences in any sport, I think, in all collegiate athletics. I think that is how good the SEC is. You have a chance to have 5 teams in Omaha. 5 of the 8 teams in basically the Elite 8. You have a chance to have 5 of 8 teams in the Elite 8. That is absurd, and that shows you why playing and Florida making it in is a great example. Now, once again, Florida has some great players. They're a good baseball team, but it's why I told you if you let any SEC team get into the postseason, just get into the postseason, they can make it to Omaha. I'm a believer that any team that gets in to a regional has a chance to go to Omaha just based on the SEC is, I think, so much better. Now, the ACC, look, they showed up too. Solid conference. But the SEC is just better. It's just reality. So, but it's cool to see 2 conferences take over the College World Series. So, and the Aggies are going to play those red hot Florida Gators to start the College World Series. Listen, this is an opportunity for revenge. You think up SEC play against Florida in Gainesville and lose that series. And I don't think people panic. People, it's really stinked having to lose the first SEC series. But, this team, of course, was able to get through it and be okay. And so Florida's a good team. They've got some great players. Caglione, the pitcher hitter. I assume he's not going to pitch in that game, but, he's going to hit. And he can hit the ball a long way. So here's your opportunity for some revenge against Florida. We'll preview this game more as we get closer to it. But you lost to this Florida team on the road in the series, had some people a little bit concerned. And now you have a chance to beat them in Omaha, stay in the winner's bracket. That is the goal here. So we will break down that game when we get closer to it. But you got to find a way to win without Monty. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out. The Aggies are in Omaha. But listen, don't just go to – I hate when teams I think are so fixated on getting to Omaha. That's almost like we did it. We got to Omaha. Win in Omaha. Let's go win the darn thing. We're here. Let's win it. So I'm so excited about this, ladies and gentlemen. I know y'all are too. It's going to be a ton of fun watching the Aggies play, hopefully for a College World Series championship. Can't wait to see how it plays out. We'll break this down more throughout the week. But that is going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Aggies. Thank you all so much for being here every single day. Hope everybody had an outstanding weekend, and we will see you tomorrow.